Hi there, it's Wendy from Ask the Landlady here with all the tips and tricks to help you make a profit in real estate rentals. I do have a book out, which is Lessons from the Landlady, and another one, actually, today's topic, sorry about that, goes into another book I have, which is Lift Your Family Out of Chaos. And it's about organizing the home, organizing your family, and it slightly touches on this topic we have today, which the question is, what should you do if your tenant is a hoarder? So, if you followed me at all or read my book, you know that conducting regular inspections is a mantra of mine. You gotta do regular inspections, but it's hard. I get it. If you get like me, things get busy. You have other things going on. There's a big snowstorm. There's stuff. It just goes out the window because you're so busy, and doing those regular inspections can be difficult. Furthermore, you might actually inherit a tenant, like I did once, and I will tell you about that later on, where you didn't kind of know, or you buy a complex, you don't get look at all 75 apartments, right? So maybe you end up with a difficult situation. So first I want to give a little disclaimer about hoarding. It is separate from people who are just cluttered or not good at housekeeping. It's a recognized mental disorder and affects about 2 to 6% of the US population. Hoarders have intense emotional distress and anxiety tied up with possessions, right? And with getting rid of stuff that, they just have trash. They just can't get rid of it. It's difficulty in discarding things regardless of their value, and things will just accumulate. The cluttered space might cause safety issues, hygiene issues. A lot of times there's some hoarding of pets involved, and the extreme amount of the stuff can just cause a huge fire hazard. So it's definitely something that is a problem not just for your tenant, but also for you, and potentially if it's a multi-unit for the people around, if it starts to create unsanitary conditions for everyone. But something that you have to be mindful of always, which is fair housing laws. So if you encounter a tenant with a hoarding disorder, a true hoarding disorder, this is a mental condition, and the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities, including mental health disorders like hoarding. Thus, you must provide reasonable accommodations in this situation. So I'm going to provide you with some steps to tread lightly in this situation, but still work towards your goal, right? Which is to protect that property and establish a safe living environment for everybody involved. You have to take action, obviously, but you have to do it in a way that's respectful to the tenant and compliant with federal law. So this is another situation where it is important to collaborate with your legal counsel. If you've seen my past videos or read my book, I've discussed how important it is to have a relationship with a local lawyer or attorney that can provide you with some sound advice and information for these tricky situations, okay? And I do go into that in detail in my book and other places. So hit subscribe or check out my website and you can get some of that information. But in general, these are some of the steps, or these are the steps that I recommend you do when encountering a situation with a hoarder. So first of all, conduct regular inspections, okay? This is where you're gonna first find out about an issue. If somebody just moves in and you're 3 months in and it's starting to get out of control, that's the time to take action right then. So you wanna be aware of that issue promptly, so as fast as possible. Number 2, if you go in and maybe you inherited this person, or maybe you didn't get in there in a while and it's like, holy moly, consult with your lawyer to get that good plan of action in place based on your local laws, as well as the Federal Fair Housing Act, okay? Third, you're gonna have to discuss this with your tenant. This is a big issue, so you wanna do it in a respectful manner. You wanna cite the health and safety issues that hoarding has for the property, that this is a serious issue, but you need to do so in a respectful manner. Number 4, if possible, contact any emergency contacts and refer your tenant to mental health agencies that could help with this hoarding disorder, okay? Because that might be some avenue where you could get some assistance with the situations. Again, citing the health and safety issues that you have at play, okay? Number 5, conduct more regular inspections, because this plan of action that you're gonna make with your attorney or with the tenant that you're gonna type out and have is gonna have steps that have to be taken over time, because it could get to the point where you do have to evict the tenant to take that property back before it becomes crazy. And you need to have some steps that the tenant needs to do. If they're making progress towards your goal, you're going to continue. If there's no progress, then you have legal recourse where you can take action to regain your property. And of course, number 6 is always document everything, every conversation. Make sure you take photos and you have a paper trail of every notice sent to that tenant along with your plan of action. Okay, so now it's time where I can tell you about a plan that I once made with a long-term tenant I inherited when I bought the property, and they had a serious hoarding issue, so hoarding disorder. So you can see what this process entails. So first, we established a written agreement where the tenant had to make progress milestones to clean out the apartment and pay for the extermination costs that were impacting their neighbors, right? Because we could prove that they've agreed with us and there was a plan in place. In Ohio, where I am, if the tenant makes progress towards that goal, he or she is allowed to stay in the home. So our tenant was elderly, and we got in touch with some local agencies to try to get help with this hoarding situation. And after several months, the social workers actually got in touch with family members, and they realized that this person was not capable of living alone, and so made steps to transfer him to a nursing home. The family kind of half-heartedly went through the stuff, but of course they left us with quite a mess. But we were prepared, we knew what was going on, we knew that we had done it in a respectful manner. This individual obviously needed to go somewhere where he could get some better care, and it was impacting our other tenants. So we were delighted to get the property back. Not delighted with the condition, but again, it's one of those things where you just have to take one step in front of the other. That's not a good day to be a landlady when you discover a hoarding situation, when you get stuck with the aftermath of it. Not a fun day, but it's what had to happen. And we had a great process in place. We got some great contacts with social workers that we've come across in the future. They saw how we dealt business and they were very happy with that. And we were able in the end to get the property back, which was the goal, because it had to happen so that we could clean it up and move on and get a great tenant in there. So again, it is not easy to be a landlady or landlord today. It can be very difficult, which is why we all have to stick together. Read my books so you can get some more information. Shoot me a comment and hit subscribe so we can keep having this dialogue and learn together as we make money in real estate. Thanks. Have a great day.